Let's talk about the best ultralight multi-tool for backcountry trout fishing. Over the years, I've used a bunch of different options, so we're going to go through them in this video and figure out which one is the very best. There is 1,000 different things you could use in the backcountry to pinch your barbs, cut your fishing line, dispatch fish, etc. You could use something like this hatchet back here. That'll definitely dispatch a fish and cut your line, probably even pinch your barb, but it's large and completely unnecessary. You could also bring something like this 7-inch SE Rambo knife, but again, large, heavy, and unnecessary. However, awesome. You could bring a fillet knife, obviously super sharp, it'll cut your line and dispatch the fish, fillet the fish, but it really is a one-purpose tool. If you are a total psychopath, you could bring something like this folding saw. But again, I think you'd have to be a little mentally ill or maybe in an emergency situation to dispatch fish and cut your line and stuff with that. These Gerber scissors are great scissors and I absolutely love them for salmon fishing, but as far as a multi-tool in the backcountry, these just aren't going to cut the mustard. Something lightweight that fits in your pocket that probably most people have backpacking anyway is a good old pocket knife. This is a great option if you don't have anything else, but again, not going to cut the mustard as an official multi-tool. Now here you have an actual multi-tool. This is one of the original Leathermans. You know, it's got all the bells and whistles. It's got a knife, a serrated knife, pliers for pinching your barbs, a file to sharpen your hooks, a saw. The problem with the Leatherman, at least the bigger ones like this, is that they are large and unnecessarily heavy and complicated for the backcountry. So let's get into some smaller, lighter weight, better options for backcountry trout fishing. So here you can see I have 5 options in front of me. We have the Gerber Dime, the Leatherman Squirt, the Leatherman Micra, the Leatherman Style PS, and my Swiss Army knife from when I was a Boy Scout when I was like 12 years old. So let's go through all these and see if we can figure out which one is the very best. They are all about the same size, quite small, fit in the palm of your hand. They don't weigh anything and they're very easy to pack. They all have multiple tools on them, aka multi-tools. Let's see which one is the very best to bring on your next backcountry trout fishing adventure. So the Swiss Army knife from when I was 12 might be the heaviest of these, even though it still only weighs probably 2.5 or 3 ounces. But it does not have a pair of pliers or a pair of scissors like some of these ones do. It does have a wine opening, a cork wine bottle opener, so it is a little hard to eliminate this one. But based on what I just said, we're going to eliminate the Swiss Army knife. That leaves us with the folding type of multi-tools, 3 from Leatherman and 1 from Gerber. First, the Leatherman PS. This is a pretty sweet little multi-tool. One advantage of this one is that it comes with a clip right here, like a carabiner built on, so you could clip it to your belt loop and not lose it. It has a file right here, fairly rough though. I don't know if you'd want to sharpen a fish hook with it. It has a small pair of tweezers and a pair of scissors. All that comes on the outside of the style, of course, like most Leatherman, you can open it up and it has a pair of pliers, which is super handy in the backcountry for pinching your barbs or getting a hook out of a fish's mouth. At 1.6 ounces and anywhere from $30 to $50 on the internet, this is a pretty decent option, but there are better options on this table, so we are going to put this one over here with the Swiss Army knife. Sorry, buddy. Next up, we have the Leatherman Lycra. So the Leatherman Lycra has no tools on the outside, everything you access by unfolding it. So when you unfold it, you'll see that the main tool is a pair of scissors and not a pair of pliers. And then the tools on this one, there are tweezers, screwdriver, a knife, like nail file, and another screwdriver. On my scale, the Leatherman Lycra comes in at 1.9 ounces and will also run you about 30 to 50 bucks depending on sales and where you find it. I like that this one has a knife and a pair of scissors. That's great for dispatching fish, and the scissors are great for cutting your fishing line. However, a pair of pliers is a must. So we are going to eliminate the Leatherman Micra and set it over here with our other two. That leaves us with these last two, which is the Leatherman Squirt PS4 and the Gerber Dime. These are extremely similar ultralight multi-tools, so let's go through them. I'll show you some of the features and I'll tell you which one I think is the best. The Leatherman Squirt on my scale comes in at just 2 ounces and it'll run you about $40 to $60 depending on where you find it on the internet. This one, you access the tools on the outside so you don't have to unfold it to access the tools. This one has a variety of different tools. See here, we got screwdriver, bottle opener, tiny screwdriver, and a pair of scissors on that side. On the other side, we have a nice knife with a nice sharp point and both rough and more fine file. And of course, being a Leatherman, it opens up to reveal a nice pair of pliers on the inside, which is again great for pinching barbs or removing hooks from your hand or your face if you're really unlucky, but hopefully you're just removing hooks from fish's mouths. So we'll set that one here and we'll compare it to the Gerber Dime. So the Gerber Dime is the heaviest at 2.4 ounces, but it's half an ounce more than the Leatherman Squirt, so you're not going to feel it in your backpack. It is also the least expensive of the bunch at just $25, which makes it a really, really great option. So again, on this one, you access the tools from the outside. You don't have to unfold it to access the tools. So on the outside here, got to have a bottle opener. So we got ourselves a bottle opener. Like the Squirt, it has a pair of scissors here on the outside. It has a small screwdriver and another small screwdriver, extremely similar to the Leatherman Squirt. On this side, we have a small blade, a small knife blade, which has a more bellied edge, which I think is really interesting and works pretty great for gutting fish. The Gerber Dime has one thing that the Leatherman Squirt doesn't have, and that is where it's really hard to see. There is a pair of tweezers that you can pull out from the top here, kind of like the Swiss Army knife tweezers. You pull them out and it's just a tiny little pair of tweezers. If you open up the Gerber Dime inside, you will find a nice pair of pliers that springs back on its own, which is a really, really useful feature when you're digging around inside of a fish's mouth trying to get a hook out. I forgot to mention the Leatherman Squirt also has the self-opening pliers. You have these two. One is in the $50 range, the Leatherman, and one is in the $25 range, the Gerber. They have really, really similar tools, so which one would I choose? Between the Gerber Dime and the Leatherman Squirt PS4, 100% of the time, I'm going with the Leatherman PS4. And let me explain why. The steel that Leatherman has decided to use for the PS4, the Squirt PS4, is significantly harder and more durable than the metal used on the Gerber Dime. This is actually the second or third Gerber Dime I have had, and each time the pliers have started to bend and deform, and you can see they no longer align here. They're slightly misaligned because the metal on the Gerber Dime is softer than the metal used in the Leatherman Squirt. And so I have had issues with the Gerber dime deforming. If they used a higher quality steel and made the Gerber dime out of a steel like the Leatherman, well, that's going to bring the price up. The choice really is, do you want to spend $25 or do you want to spend 50 or 60 bucks on the Leatherman? I do a ton of backcountry fishing and I need something that's going to last me a long time, so I'm going with the Leatherman. I think that if you are maybe a weekend warrior or you just get out a few times a year but you want an awesome multi-tool for the backcountry, the Gerber dime is going to be a great deal at just $25 and 2.5 ounces. If you are consistently out in the backcountry fishing and you need something that you're going to be able to pinch barbs with a nice hard steel that you know is going to last, that has a knife for dispatching fish, a pair of scissors for cutting your line, a knife for cutting your line, a pair of pliers, I think the Leatherman Squirt PS4, from what I've found so far, is hands down the best ultralight multi-tool for backcountry trout fishing. As always, I will leave links for all this stuff down in the description box if you want to go check any of it out. And genuinely, please leave me a comment if you have found something different that is as good or better than the Leatherman Squirt PS4. I'm always looking for new ideas and I'd love to try some stuff out, even if it's not necessarily for fishing, if it's just for backpacking or hunting or something. I did do a video on the best backcountry trout tackle and another video on the best rod and reel for backcountry trout fishing. I'll also put those down in the description box. If you watch all three of these videos, you'll have all my backcountry trout fishing knowledge and you'll be able to head out in the mountains and slay those trout. Let me show you guys a little pro tip with the Leatherman Squirt and the way that I always carry it. So I have a bungee lanyard here. Now you can go somewhere like Stone Glacier or First Light, probably even Amazon. I'll try and find something like this on Amazon. But essentially it's a bungee lanyard. This one is about 6 inches, but it stretches out to like 2 feet. On one end, I have a key ring, and on the other end, I have a Night Eyes carabiner. And so I will take the key ring and attach it to the Leatherman, like so, because the Leatherman has a little key ring loop here. Squat down so you can see me. When I'm in the backcountry, what I do is I take this big old carabiner here and I will just attach it to a belt loop. And that way, because I have lost one of these Leatherman Squirts before, and it's painful because they're like 50 bucks. So that way, it's always just hanging off my belt loop like that. And sometimes I'll even just open up the pliers and I just leave it hanging from my belt loop if I'm like standing in one spot fishing. As I'm fishing, I can literally just reach down, grab it. I got my bungee, and then I can get the hook out, and then I just drop it again. And I always have it right here, and it's always with me. That's my amateur pro tip for the day. Thanks for watching, you guys. I hope you found some useful information in this video, and we will catch you on the next adventure.